Portland, Oregon is my hometown. Well, I consider it my hometown. Before my junior year, my family moved across the Columbia River to Vancouver, Washington, a suburb of Portland. The burbs. Vancouver's about a 10-minute drive from Portland. But you know what the suburbs have? Really good football teams. I didn't transfer. I moved. So when I didn't do all the paperwork. My family just upped and moved our house to Vancouver, Washington. I did this partially because my football coach made it clear he didn't want me to be his quarterback that next season, that my junior year. Partly because we lost our house and we were moving away, and partly because my old school was terrible at football. So again, coach didn't want me. We lost our house anyways, and my old school was really terrible at football. I moved to Vancouver and played quarterback at one of the best schools in Washington. We did really well. We won a playoff game. We had a huge upset over Curtis High School. It was a ton of fun. I had a blast. That same year, my old school in Portland, Oregon, went 0-10. That did not sound very fun. By the way, my old school has a new coach now. I like him very much. Great guy. Rooting for him. Love that coach. There's an article going around my hometown of Portland, Oregon right now. It's called High School Football Coaches Blame Surge in Transfers on the Rise of AAU-type Culture. It's getting a ton of attention. It's really riling people up. One of the main focuses of this article is Jalen John. He was a starting running back who transferred out of his old school. It goes on and talk about how his old school, which only won one game last year, will have a hard time next season. It mentions how his old school could have been built around him, right? They could have built their whole team on the back of Jalen John. In fact, the article implies that they're being robbed of a chance to win games next season because of him transferring. So I want to defend Jalen John and other kids who switch schools. Now, before you leave huffing and puffing and get all angry, at least hear me out. Jalen John won one game last season. That's not fun. I've done that. I've been a part of teams like that. That is not fun. Seasons like that stink. It's not Jalen John's job to build up a program. If he wants to, great. But Jalen John doesn't want to be the only good player on his football team. He doesn't want to be Russell Westbrook. Some guys want to go play with their buddies. In fact, that was a difficult factor when I moved. I played with all of my best friends from growing up. You know, Sam Darnold is USC's quarterback. In high school, Sam Darnold was approached by dads at a bigger, better high school. They wanted Sam to come play for their team. Sam said, "No, thank you. I'm good." He wanted to play with his buddies. Some guys want to build a program. Maybe it's not about their buddies. So some guys want to play with their buddies. Some guys want to build a program. And it has nothing to do with their buddies. They just want to be the tipping point of something great. And that's noble. I commend guys like that. But some guys just want to win. That's not to say you can't have fun without winning. Not at all. When I transferred, it was a mix of things. My old friends were working. At my old school, my friends and I were working to change the culture. But then when my head coach said he didn't want me to be starting quarterback, it was really easy. It was really clear. He didn't want me. I was like, screw you. After all that work I've put in. So I left to a new school. I knew I would have way more fun. Even if I never played it down, we'd be winning games and that would be fun. I wanted to be a part of that. Heck, I even ended up being the starting quarterback for 2 seasons. That was way more fun than I ever imagined. The point is, you only get to play high school football once. I recommend you figure out what's important to you. Then find a way to get that out of football. Whether you want to play with your buddies or build a program, maybe just want to win a ton of games. There's nothing wrong with any of those options. Different people find enjoyment in different ways. It's your life. Go live it the way you want. Teams that are gaining from transfers, they don't mind transfers. It's fine. And obviously the teams that are losing players, like Jalen John's team, hate transfers. Later, the article went on to discuss the way off-season training is supposedly influencing players to leave. In a nutshell, high school coaches are running off-season programs and supposedly recruiting players out of them. Now, that does happen. It totally happens. I'm not going to lie and pretend that doesn't happen, but it's massively overstated. This issue is not even close to what everyone is treating it like. When I moved to my new school, I was not recruited by the school I chose to go to. They did not need to recruit me. They had a winning tradition. I watched them play on TV in the state championship game. The articles about that place made the school look fun. I knew that's where I wanted to be. Some players are recruited and they leave. That does happen. But again, it's largely overstated. It's not the big issue everyone treats it like it is. Let's think about it. If you're losing players, isn't that partly on you? Like, why did your girlfriend break up with you? Some other guy flirted with her and gave her what she wanted. Well, why weren't you giving her what she wanted? Why are you even losing your girlfriend? What's the issue there? Clearly, you have an issue too. Coaches who are mad about losing players should look inward, not outward. Why are kids leaving your program? It could be so many factors, but the bottom line is those guys that leave aren't getting what they want out of the experience. Obviously, it's really hard to win and build a program, especially when you're a loser school. But some of it's all about messaging. Go look at the Instagram page for the Lincoln High School football team in Tacoma, Washington. I'm serious, look it up. It's fantastic. It's Lincoln_Abes_football. This page is so smart. It's all marketing. But it's not just for the kids on the outside looking in. It's not for recruiting purposes. It also keeps the 8th graders who are planning to go to your program invested. Of course I want to go there. Look at their Instagram. It looks awesome. It's like, I want to be a part of that. Obviously, you're at a disadvantage if you have a bad team. No one's lying. No, of course you are. Who wants to play for a bad team that loses games? But you can still send out good messaging. Share that you're building a program. You're working hard. You're changing the culture. Use hashtags like, building, working hard, changing the culture, stuff like that. Give the guys looking at you a reason to want to stay. Maybe you're a coach and you just refuse to do social media. Well, too bad. Times are changing. Get on the train or not. No, you do not want recruiting in high school football. Recruiting is unfair. It stinks. And although I hate to break it to you, there are schools from rich areas that are better at football often. They have better facilities, better parental support, you name it. That's also unfair. So unfairness happens everywhere in high school football. But you do not want recruiting in high school football. Not at all. But the kids who care enough to transfer, if a kid cares about football so much he's willing to transfer, you don't need to recruit him. I did my homework when I moved. Dad, you see this article? You see this video? This is a school I want to go to. High school coaches just need to worry about making awesome programs you'd want to be a part of. And if you can share it on social media, that's huge. Get the message out. So when kids look at your program like me, the messaging is there that this is a team I want to be a part of. Man, someone's going to hate that segment. Someone really is going to hate that segment.